Oh my goodness, thank goodness. It's Friday and we have reached the weekender edition of the Sportsline Podcast here on CHCH. I'm Bubba O'Neil. You know, sports in Southern Ontario has always been our focus, and folks, it is hard to argue and fair to say that in our beautiful Golden Horseshoe region, the Hamilton Ticats are the biggest show in town. Looking deeper into that team are the players, and in what most will call a shock, one of the Ticats' finest has decided to hang him up. Simoni Lawrence is retired from professional football following 11 seasons in the Canadian Football League and a decade with the hometown squad. Linebacker wore number 21 owns a franchise record for defensive tackles and the league mark for single-game tackles. He earned 3 CFL All-Star selections along with 5 Division All-Star honors. In addition, he's a 3-time nominee for the CFL's Most Outstanding Defensive Player. Now, awards aside, Simoni is a stronghold in the Steeltown community, and his life's next chapter, well, the 35-year-old Pennsylvania native will stay home. He's going nowhere, folks. He is now the brand and community ambassador for the Hamilton Sports Group. Now, I want to say, 21, what's up? How are you? But I'm just going to have to say, Mr. Simoni Lawrence, how are you?
How you doing, Bubba?
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you for coming to the Sportsline Podcast.
You know, it's an absolute honor to come here today, you know. Such a distinguished podcast you have here. I'm just honored to be here and share this beautiful red couch with you, of course.
Yes, well, this is an honor for me because, you know, I'll be honest with you, Simoni, through all the years, the decade that you were here, I do remember, you know, you coming here and being an impact player and an impact personality from the very, very beginning. And to ever think that there would be some type of conclusion would have been foolish of me. but as we do learn in sports, we get attached to our individuals. We get attached to our personal heroes and people that we look up to. You've become one of those people, and now you decided to step away. Why did you do so?
For me personally, I think it was the best thing as far as moving on forward for my career-wise. You know, football is one of those careers where it's pretty stagnant. Every year, it's let's win a championship, and then it's a reset. Let's win a championship, then it's a reset. Let's win a championship, then it's a reset. And it kind of felt like a rabbit wheel, you know what I mean? Just running, but not going anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, as much as we do in the community and stuff and things like that, I felt like just as far as moving my life forward, you know, like maybe starting a family, you know what I mean? And, you know, possible children and things like that, sort of, you know. Playing a kid's game, you get caught up in the kid atmosphere a lot, too, in it.
Is that why you called it, or you wanted to script it as not a retirement, but a graduation?
For sure. I say graduation because it's not like I get to come here and hang out with you on the chair all day. You know, we're still cooking up and stuff. But, yeah, I called it a graduation just because I felt like it's moving up, you know, just working in the business world. You know, I went to a dinner the other day with a bunch of the bosses at over in Hamilton Sports Group, and you know the mindset's just way different. You know what the conversations are, and you know I just think that it's time to move on.
I have to say this. It is now we're getting close to February, like we're almost near the end of February. January 29th, you were right here in the couch wearing the 21 hat. And we were discussing your next steps in your career, some career highlights and things like that. I had no feeling. I had no knowledge. I will say that to everyone of what was to happen in a couple weeks. Did you know at that point?
At that point, I was still going back and forth. You know, I was still talking. I knew like the offers that I had on the table and stuff, but I didn't make any decisions, right? And like we were talking about before, it's like you have so much on your mind and you have to like separate each thing, right? And it's just like you go with the flow of how you feel and stuff, and you know, talking to my family, and you know, we thought it was the best decision.
Was Hamilton, I mean, was that one, you wanted to be in Hamilton first and foremost?
Yeah, for sure, always. You know, Hamilton's home. I couldn't really picture myself anywhere. You know, I look around the locker rooms, and I don't think people understand this about playing football. Well, playing football as Simoni Lawrence in the CFL, like I am super decorated here in Hamilton, and that comes with a lot. Playing football in one city comes with a lot. Like, there's no other team in the league that looks at Simoni Lawrence as not a villain. I'm the guy. You go on the field, and the coaches are like, make sure 21 doesn't make plays. We hate 21. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like going into any locker room is like work.
But you never, at least to me, and I think to most media members, and I think certainly to the fans, it never seemed like work to any of us that you were putting in. Yeah. Like, it seemed like something that you love to do. And I'm sure there are days I come in here and, like right now, this is fun for me. Like, I'm having, like, this is great, and getting to talk to you. But I'm not going to lie. There are some days when I come in here and I'm a little bit more monotone. I'm just like a robot.
Yeah.
Doing my job, right? Was there a little feeling of that sometimes?
Nah, I'm like actually in love with football. Like, that's my first love. I fell in love with football when I was like 9 years old. Every time I go into work, we call it work or football practice and stuff, I get on the field, I'm just like, oh man, it's just such a relief. Like, you can just be your natural self. You could have fun, talk smack with the boys.
I've seen you. I remember one practice, not to interrupt, but I remember one practice. It was pouring rain, and we were sitting here in the media booth like that too, and all you guys are kind of littering out or whatever, and it's raining. Right. It's pouring, and you come running out. You come running out screaming, but I could see the level of enthusiasm in the practice changed once you came out there, and all of a sudden work got done, practice was done, and that's something you seem to be famous for.
Yeah, it's your energy, man. Like, you're always responsible for your attitude, energy, and effort, right? And those are controllable factors, and I learned that when I was really little, So it's like, it's raining outside. All right, I know how everybody truly feels, you know what I mean? Right. So let's go out here and try to make everybody feel something different, When you're young and it's raining outside, you're begging your mom, can I please go outside and play football? So, you go in the locker room and you remind all the boys, like, man, remember when your mom used to let you go outside when it was raining, So, like, when you come out here, like, let's go have some fun and, like, let's get some work done, So it's always that.
So many moments, and each one of us as fans, as media members, people that have followed the league, think of you, as you said, in different lights, and we have special moments that we all have stored away. Is there one of them? Is there anything that really sticks to you that, that maybe, as you talk about being a dad, maybe being a husband, all these things that you're going to tell your kids about, like a moment or something that when we interview you 40 years from now, that you're like, man, I did this. Right?
Oh, man. I think it's all recorded. I think that's the most impressive part of, like, being a professional athlete. We have great networks like CACH that record everything, and it's all documented. Like, we can go through any kind of storyline and just hit Google and show the children, hey, look, your dad oh, you know him right there? Oh, I used to put him on his head all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all fun stuff, but memories that stick out. I always tell people about this memory back when we would play Toronto in, like, I think it was the 2013 season, my first season here, and we're in the Dome, and we were playing young Zach Caleros at the time, and he threw the ball up, and then Chris Van Zyl was playing tackle at the time, and I jumped over Chris, I tapped the ball, I did a 360, I caught it with my hand, and then I almost scored, and, like, that was, like, the best football play I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. And it's funny because, let's be honest here, the moments against the Argonauts, I remember a pick six. When I think you guys beat them at BMO, I think you put like 60 on them.
That was the inauguration season for them too.
Yeah, you put a whipping on those guys. And there's something, what is it? Like, we get just forced into this sort of, or born into it, not forced, but born into this of the Argonauts.
Oh man, like you're talking about that game. It was, they opened up BMO Field, and I just remember going into that game like, oh man, there's so much talk about this player and then Toronto, this Toronto. I'm like, we're gonna make this a show, right? So I remember going into that game, and I was talking to one of my boy, Drake Nevis at the time. He plays defensive tackle.
Yep.
Went to LSU. Great guy. And he's like, hey, Sim, you ever hit a one-liner? I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to do it tonight. No idea what he's talking about. And then he comes up to me again. He's like, bro, you really did it. And then I'm like, did what? He's like, hit a one-liner. I was like, what's that? He's like, you got every single stat you could possibly get on defense. I was like, all right, cool.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
All right, so a one-liner is like you get every single stat you can possibly record. So a tackle for loss, an interception, a sack, interception for a touchdown, an interception, a pass knockdown, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery.
This is like the massive triple-double.
Yeah.
Like, spectacular. What a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to start using that one if you don't mind, Drake. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, you know.
One-liners are serious, man.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, you think about those great moments, and I'll bring up that, again, that rain practice or whatever is something, because I know just even on my own little minor league level of playing ball, that, you know what, yeah, the wins and the losses are a certain... They bring a certain emotion, but there's something about football, and I don't know if it's better than other sports, at least better than other sports I've played, that practice and those moments in the locker room, they may be better than the games themselves.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, it's a consistency, because in football you can't hide, right? Like, you'll see somebody's chinking somebody's armor at some point of the season, like, oh, okay, that's who that person is, you know what I mean? And like, as far as like for somebody like myself, right, where it's like I'm talking all the time, I'm cracking jokes all the time, I'm always at a high level, it's like I can't let anybody ever see any chink in my armor at any time. So it's like, I've been playing football for Ticats for 10 years. I finally get to relax, kick my feet up, maybe walk to the car instead of running. So it's chill, man. It's chill.
Yeah, those are great moments in the locker room. By the way, did any teammate ever tell you to shut up?
Nah, I'm a big dog, Bubba. I'm a big dog in every sense. Like, like football's one of those gladiator sports, right? Yeah. So it's like, I went to a military academy too, so it's like, everything comes with it.
I'm picturing maybe a guy on offense, like maybe like a Ravensburg or a Filer that gay, hey man, quiet.
You hear how it sounds though? Like what? Like there's back and forth for sure, but there's nobody that's gonna be like, be quiet, and then you be quiet. Like, not in that world. Not in that world.
With all the great moments, though, there's also low moments. And that's the crazy part about football, because it is a one game a week, and sometimes in the CFL 3 times in 11 games and 11 days. It happens. But get to what I'm saying here. Baseball is every day. You win, you lose. You almost forget the loss or whatever. Sometimes when you win, that victory can stick with you. It can carry, can create momentum. The loss sometimes can bring you down and maybe create the wrong type of momentum. The losses sometimes and some of the negative things that happen. I'm going to just throw out that 2019 Grey Cup only because the Ticats were so favored. But then there were some other Grey Cup experiences that maybe weren't to your least liking. Is there one that hurts a little more than others?
14 hurt just because you thought we won it. 14 when Speedy B returned the kickoff for a touchdown. And then 44 got the little block in the back, I think they called it. That one hurt because I thought we won the Grey Cup. 19 hurt because we're the best team in the league that year. And then for whatever reason went to the Grey Cup and got smoked. 21 hurt just because I thought that was a game we should have won easily. Those 21, 15, and 19 hurt real bad. 13, I think we just all came in there and we're just like, yo, we're the young kids on the block and we're just better than everybody. Let's get to it. But
what about the one in Ottawa? I kind of remember that.
Ottawa 15, that's a year we should have won the Grey Cup yet as well. When Henry Burrs threw the football in the air and then, I don't know, a turf monster hit our defensive back and he fell. That one hurt as well. Against Ottawa, and then I think it was who caught it? Greg caught it and ran into the end zone. That was another year we could have won. Yeah. I mean, all of those hurt and like they all pop up in your memory bank sometimes.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, man, it's a gladiator sport. And, like, that's why I appreciate football so much. It's a ultimate team sport. And you have to understand, like, you know, unless you're, like, Patrick Mahomes, that's the only person that can really be like, all right, we're taking the team and we're winning a championship, you know?
And it's one thing I've definitely learned, and I think June Jones might have been the first one to really peg it into me, that, you know what, you can look at games like that, and we'll use the miracle in Bank Street there, you know, that, of course, it was a crazy wild catch there. The crazy things happened. 2 defensive backs really in coverage, good coverage. And, yeah, you're right, a turf monster comes up at TD Bank Stadium. But what he said about the fact that, you know what, yeah, you can look at that play, but I bet you there was 5 plays why we lost that game. Yeah. And you really do learn that when you get to learn the game a little bit more. That you can't just really peg one play.
Yeah. It's always you can't peg one play, and I believe in that to a certain extent as well, but I'm also a realist too, where you got to make your plays, you know. Some plays are more important than others, you know. Like, as much as you think tackling you miss a tackle on the running back and they get a first down, you know, like, that's a big play that you miss. But an interception for a touchdown, that's going to cost the team a little more, you know what I mean? So I think, like, I know for sure, like, certain plays mean way more as well.
You talk about interceptions, returns for a touchdown, the sacks, the glory moments that every defensive player loves. Some players make those plays, and it's over. Players like yourself sometimes make those plays and let the other team know. Simoni, you know I'm coming where I'm coming with it. You love to trash talk. You talked about it earlier, and you've become CFL famous for it. I think Charleston Hughes might be the only guy that can come close to you, maybe. And you're shaking the head already.
Nah, man. These guys pick and choose, man. No, they pick and choose. The reason I say that is because it's like, I don't hold anybody on a standard where it's like they can't get it. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, no, don't talk about him. Don't talk about him. No, everybody gets it the same. You know what I mean? And, like, there's no picking and choosing. All right, I'll tell you this story. My first year in the league, right, I was in Edmonton, and we're playing the BC Lions, right? And everybody was talking about G-Roy. Shout out to G-Roy. You know what I mean? Great player in the CFL.
That's right.
I even remember his touchdown when he went to SAS in the Grey Cup against us, just off the memory. But he was in BC at the time, and everybody was talking about him. So I'm young, like 2012, Edmonton, Simoni Lawrence. Low fro hawk and stuff. And then I go up to G-Roy. I'm like, man, you ain't nothing. You slow. Da-da-da-da. I can stick you one-on-one. You will just start talking.
He was old then. He was.
So one of the fullbacks came up to me. He's like, hey, you don't talk to legends like that. I looked at him. I'm like, that means you're never going to be a legend. Get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, because football is such a dog-eat sport. I'm just like, yo, how can you put people in front of you? You know what I mean? Like, it's a play for keeps type of sport. Like, that's the only way to the top. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, as soon as I came in the league, I was going for the top guys all the time.
Did you feel like it gave you an edge?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and that's what I tell people. Like, a lot of people play football. I get everybody's absolute best every single week. Nobody takes it easy on me. You know, people, my brother-in-law, like, oh, good play. Like, I don't get none of those. It's balls to walls, because if I'm beating you, I'm letting you know I'm beating you, and nobody wants to get beat. So,
well, one of those guys that I think that, that mentality sort of blew him up was this James Wilder Jr.
Baby James.
What was the relationship between you two?
Oh, man, Bubba, you would have to pay me. I could give you the best story on this, but that would have, oh, man, that is a story, Bubba. Bubba, that is a story. Man, I can't even.
Can you give me a snippet?
All right, I'll give you a little snippet, all right? Let's just say psychological warfare, right? Yeah, I played in Hamilton. He played in Toronto. I go everywhere, you know, like during seasons. I might show up where the other teams are sometimes.
Yes.
And have a good time. Yeah. But that's a story, Bubba. Man, we could talk, Bubba. If you want some good stories, we can talk, man. We can talk.
I had to figure. There was something in me that for years I've been holding this one in that I knew that name would trigger you.
Oh no, I am not
triggered in the wrong way,
Yeah.
but there's a history. We'll say.
Yeah, but not like nothing like, you know what I mean, like baby food. You know what I mean, like.
All right. That's up for you guys. You guys can kind of figure out where this one. But I mean, I remember being on the field level for a couple of those games.
Yeah.
Even when he went to Edmonton too, there was words exchanged, man. Like you guys went at it pretty good.
Yeah, that's I got some great stories on that one.
Well, like you said, though, you played hard, and that's one of the reasons why we think about Hamilton football players. We think of Hitchcock destroying people from his safety position. We think of Mosca laying out quarterbacks. We think of Grover and Joe sacking quarterbacks and laying their lumber. And you did your thing in your era as well, too. And you played hard. And I think it's fair to say you played on the edge, right? You think about I guess guys who drive, F1 drivers, and Michael Schumacher used to always say, "I need to hit the limit. I have to push the car to the limit," and you were about that. It seemed to me, but there were some people that say you went over the limit. What would you say to those people?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I know that I play football the right way because look at my life. You know what I mean? Like, you don't play football. You don't play a sport like football for over 12 years if you're playing it the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people try to, like, put a cap on greatness. So it's like, oh, you can't do that. And it's not that you can't do that. It's just everybody can't do that. You know what I mean? It's hard to come out there with that kind of energy and tenacity and, talking down on players that everybody think are superstars. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, man, we got to, like, find a way to cap it and make them calm down and relax a little bit. And I'm well aware of that, I know I play football the right way. If you ever been to any Philadelphia sporting event or a Philadelphia fan.
Where they booed Santa Claus.
Where we blew Santa Claus, threw snowballs at Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those sports, and football's still one of those sports where you get to test somebody's will and see how much they can take without crashing or, you know what I mean? And, I wouldn't even say I play football on the edge. I just give it to people like it's a playoff game, It always surprised me, like, when you play football games, it's like, oh, this game is going to be nasty. It's Toronto versus Hamilton. It's a rivalry game. There's going to be a lot of hard hitting. Why is it just hard hitting in a rivalry game? You know what I mean? Like, why is it just subdued to this moment? You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of times it's just who's watching the game. If you put the game on, like, and my family is watching it, like all my Philadelphia family, Hamilton,
right.
It's the right way to play football.
It is. And that's what we remember.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like, that's why I say Hamilton's fit my type of game perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and with that said, there was a moment that I think we need to discuss, and it was that Saskatchewan-Hamilton game at Tim Hortons Field where you were suspended for 2 games for hitting Zach Collaros. And you guys with Zach Collaros had a friendship. Like, you guys were teammates. When something like that happens, and I know that was tough because I know there was you talked about this real earlier, that Steeltown are my people, but then everywhere else around the league, there are other people that is backing their teams. And, you had broadcasters are saying Simoni's a dirty player, and like, what that whole time there, how did you manifest yourself and just kind of continue to get, you sit your 2 games out and then continue to play at the high level that you seem to maintain?
It's all about, like, attentions, man. Like, we play football, right? And the play that I did, like, if anybody, like, if you're a student of football, the way I play football is I'm a lunger tackle, right? So, like, I'm shooting, and when I'm shooting, as I'm shooting, he was still up. And then as I seen him go, I tried to turn my body so I didn't kill him. Like if I would have hit him, I would have like killed him and stuff. So I'm literally trying to turn my body so I don't like hit him as hard and stuff. But it was an unfortunate play, and it's just part of the game. And I don't really listen to outside noise. Like sometimes I like get on Twitter and just get like a little back and forth, and that's just because of like it's an entertainment business, right? So it's whatever. I don't really care about people's like. That's their job, is to talk, what I mean? My job is to play. Other people's job is to talk. It was pretty, like, I talked to Zach, like, that whole year, what I'm saying, about, like, even about the situation when he was in Toronto. He wanted to come to Hamilton during that situation. Like, it's just, it doesn't make, like, what people talk about in public didn't match up with what was going on in real life. So
because he was really mad after the play, but of course he would be really mad after that play. And we talk about this all the time, that your emotions are going crazy within the realm of a football game.
Right.
And I would lead to understand too from talking to Zach that he had nothing against you. He still continues to have nothing against you. He still considers you one of his best teammates as well too.
Like that's the thing. They were like ultra competitors. Like they got up, like Zach was cursing at you, and then you were cursing back at him. I'm like, I curse at Zach in practice, and he cursed back at me in practice, and like that's just he's an Ohio boy. You know what I mean? Like I don't think people like that's the thing. Like in Canada, it gets misconstrued, you know what I'm saying? Because Canada is Canada nice. I went to University of Minnesota, and there is that Minnesota nice, and I get it. Like, I understand what it is. So when you see that combative going back and forth, it's always like, oh, it's violence. They hate each other. No, but Zach's an Ohio boy. I'm a PA boy, you know what I mean? Like, PA versus Ohio. Like, this is like we go back and forth all the time. This is war. Like this is just how it is in the States. You know what I mean? And you have to be aware bringing it to Canada because it's like it's looked upon different for sure.
Thank you for sharing and talking about that, because that was a point where a lot of people did talk about your career and I was like, that was just one moment, like in a 10-year career, and that's what you're kind of focusing on.
Bubba, imagine this though, like that year, right? That happened, right? All right, I took my punishment. I sat down for 2 games. Who led the whole league in defensive plays that year still? Like, I missed 2 games, and I came back and still led the whole entire league, led my team to a Grey Cup. Like it's like the level of football that I was able to play at in Canada. It's like unmatched when you really think about it. You know what I mean?
For the complete game, it's hard to argue.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you got to find stuff to nitpick at. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, again, not to say you're Muhammad Ali, but what did Muhammad Ali say? You're like, yeah, you can call me brash, you can call me cocky, but I back it up.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Like there was Little League games in 2019. Where players would be like, look, man, bro, like, you got it, bro. you win, bro. Like, and these are grown men with children, you know what I'm saying? Like, no mas, you know what I'm saying?
and this is, I'm going to lead and finish this little portion here with this. I will say it. I was inside that facility for the award ceremony in 2019 for Defensive Player of the Year, and some middle linebacker from Winnipeg who's a good player. He's a good player. There's no way he should have beaten you. Big Hill.
Oh, that wasn't even the year, bro.
That was 20.
You're talking the 2019 year. My boy Willie, I love Willie J. That's my boy. Like my close friend comes to my house and stuff. That year. I had more tackles in one game than he recorded stats, and that's who got defensive player over me. And then the year 2021, that wasn't a close year neither. But it's all like, I guess it's all preference of like what they want it to look like, like these awards are picked by the CFL, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not like the best player gets the award type things, you know what I'm saying? So
was robbed. I'm going to say that. I have every right to make my comment.
Yeah.
And you were robbed that year. fair and square. Hey, I guess here's the question now. I mean, now that this has been kind of taken away from you a little bit, like you can't touch it, you can't strip it, you can't.
I can still kick it.
You can't. You see that? You see that?
Bubba with the quickness.
You see that? You see that quickness? But yeah, this is touching this and being this and strip sackles and forced fumbles. This is no longer part of your life, or will not be a part of your life here. So what's next?
Oh man, we're just gonna continue to go out in the community, take care of the children, make sure everybody's good. You know, keep repping the brand. Let's go Forge FC. Let's go Ticats. You know, let's go Hamilton. You know what I mean? Like, we're just gonna keep repping the brands and like keep moving Hamilton forward. You know, I think that everybody understands how pivotal of a place Hamilton is to come to and visit. You know, I know so many people that came up for the Grey Cup this year was like, wow. I didn't know it was so fun. Like, there's so many great restaurants. There's so much to do. Like, you know, we're getting new places to go to every weekend here in Hamilton. It's a hot spot. I got friends from Toronto like, man, where do you live in Hamilton? I'm thinking about moving out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hamilton is like a location not only where people want to come now. It's like, yo, like, I want to come and travel and see what's out in Hamilton. You know what I mean? Is it really a little Pittsburgh, like Steelers? I'm like, it's better than Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? Like, I would compare it more to like a Philadelphia area, you know what I'm saying? For sure. And I think a lot of people just need to come and check out Hamilton. And I think like my job as an ambassador of the city of Hamilton as well is just, you know, showing everybody how fun it is out here and, you know, bringing the pocketbooks to Hamilton and moving Hamilton forward.
And that's great, and because you're right, this city is in the midst of a revival, being pushed in different directions. I mean, you think about you're right about the restaurants, and you know I love my restaurants, and that. But all these Toronto cooks are coming and opening restaurants in Hamilton.
You know what I mean?
Right? Like, it's crazy to see what's happening, and some of the areas that are getting redone, and the gentrification of so many areas where, you know, maybe 20 years ago people didn't go anymore, but now people are. That's Lock Street. That was a hot spot now, right? That was. No one ever went to that area, you know, 15, 20 years ago, or it was just the people that lived there. But yeah, it's great that you're going to be part of this. I think it's going to be a real fun part for you, and that you have such acceptance from people. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But you have such acceptance from people in this city, and it's a wonderful thing. I mean, you've kind of, I have to put it on an Argo level, but you're the Pinball Clements of the Golden Horseshoe, right?
I'm for sure the Simoni Lawrence of Hamilton. You know what I mean?
You see, right? But I mean, Pinball could run for prime minister, for crying out loud, right? Because he's earned the respect of people and. As an American, you stayed here. You're staying here. And that means a lot to Canadians. I mean, that means a lot to Canadians. So let's finish off with this. I'm going to pop up a couple pictures. I want your reaction, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Let's go to picture number one, guys. Tell me when you think when you see this guy.
Oh, Coach O. He's a legend, man. Me and Coach have such a unique and great relationship. He's done so much for me throughout my career. You know, he was my defensive coordinator my first year. I remember putting in the new blitzes, like we would put in and be like, well, that didn't go as planned. Let's try it this way. You know what I mean? Just like do what makes sense type defense. And he's one of the reasons why I was able to excel so fast, because he was just like, do what makes sense. And I was like, all right.
I remember when he was here, earlier, I guess about a month ago, and I talked to him, and I said, I have never, in my time of being in media, seen a guy when he went for Fresno State, and you were one of them. Players were emotional, knowing that I couldn't believe how emotional.
He's one of those guys that he's so great for the organization, because he's just such a great human. In football, you know, we're all, and he's so even kill. He's such a great person. He does everything the right way, you know what I'm saying? So, like, he's such a great person to have in the organization. You can go up and talk to him, and there's no ego. There's just, like, let's move forward type thing. He's a great human.
Next picture.
Yeah, Kent Austin. I love me some Kent. Kent's one of those coaches where I grew up kind of playing for. You know what I mean? Like, Kent's one of those guys where it's like, let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? I love Ken Austin, you know what I mean? He's done a lot for me throughout my career, too. You know, he gave me the keys early. He was the head coach when I was here, when I first got here. And it was one of those things like, hey, Sim, go kick their ass.
But it was funny, though, because being able to watch him be as a head coach, and he was very successful, but Orlando, but totally different kinds of guys, though, but achieved kind of the same results.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on your team and, like, what you have on your team and, like, Coach Austin was very necessary for our young football team. You know what I mean? We had some I was the good kid. You know what I mean, on the team, making sure everybody was good. You know what I mean? So he was
tough.
Yeah, he was perfect for our team. He was perfect.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mr. Ken, and he's doing well right now. I mean, he's doing amazing still. You know, in terms of his coaching level in the NCAA. I'm going to say name. Another guy that I think, I think you have some good feelings for, and that's Brandon Banks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I love Brandon. That's my dog, man. We got so many stories. Like, if we sat and talked like about our stories, like, would go viral every single comment we make. So, but like, yeah, we talk a lot. Well,
I always remember the one, I think, when you had your podcast going, which I hope you fire up again too, where you guys really annoyed me with one little comment. Please, you can defend this, because I know there are people that probably agree with you, and there's maybe some that agree with me, some of the old timers. The fact that you said that Randy Moss was better than Jerry Rice. What?
Oh, I see.
What?
So, all right. So, like, this is my thing. Jerry Rice is, like, great football player. Run a route, catch the ball, not dropping anything. I'm one of those guys where if I'm a GM, that's how I see it. Like, I'm getting Randy Moss just because he's coming in and instantly making a team go over the hump. And I'm not saying Jerry Rice can't do that, but in this era today where Jerry Rice was going against, like, you know what I'm saying, getting that press coverage every day, you know what I mean? And maybe you don't got like a Joe Montana, a Steve Young throwing you the football, you know what I mean? It might get a little tricky.
Dante was pretty good at putting that ball up for
Dante Culpepper.
I'm not saying he's Montana.
Dante Culpepper. Bubba, stop it.
Randall for a little bit.
Come on. See what I'm saying? These are good players, but they're good because they said hut and they were allowed to just do that. You know what I mean? There's a verb named after Randy. You know that, right? There is a verb.
Right.
Like, when I remember like it was yesterday, like when we're like on the 69th Street, we're like, ooh, mossed them. And we were always thinking like, you think it's ever going to be something else other than, ooh, mossed them? There's still nothing like that.
But I don't remember Randy running across the middle of 15 yards and then saying, "Watch me gallop away," like Jerry Rice, the number 80 did.
I respect Jerry. I respect Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer and everything. For his
yardage will never be caught.
For my football team, to help my football team, I need Randy Moss. Because I know I can get me a couple of almost Jerry Rices. You know what I mean? Like, there's Jerry Rice talent everywhere. Not everywhere, like, in the sense of, like, his body of work, but his talent, you can find that. You can find you a Wes Welker who's going to catch the ball, do everything they're supposed to do, get your little yardage, run the right routes and stuff. But a Randy Moss, that's a tough find, Bubba.
If you're doing Madden rating, give me the two numbers for each one of those guys.
Oh, Madden? Randy Moss is a 99. And then, like, I don't know what they're going to put. I got to look at the I'm not disrespecting nobody. But look, Randy Moss is a 99. Like,
well, let's just hope here, because what happened yesterday is that a Moss is now a member of the Ticats.
Yeah.
It's Thaddeus Moss now. So let's hope that he can bring some of that 99 to the Tiger Cats.
I said Randy Moss, but
because there's a number 19 that would like to find a Randy Moss, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Bo Levi.
As you can see, like Yeah, they're setting the team up perfect for what Bo Levi likes. All years of Bo Levi being successful in his football career, he's had those big, long receivers, and that's what he likes. He's a gunslinger, little Texas boy, likes to throw the ball up in the air. And, he's always had like those big weapons. As you go back to Calgary, so many times we had Bo under wraps in Calgary, and he's just launched the ball up to like Eric Rodgers or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So
how many times in a row did Calgary, beat Hamilton, and he was the quarterback?
You know what I mean?
Jeez.
So yeah, they're getting his group of receivers for sure.
All right, one last question before we let you go here. The Tiger Cats, it is Labor Day. Maybe the week after Labor Day. We're talking about 2024 here. The Tiger Cats are, we'll say, 12-1. Maybe they're 13-0. And they're looking good. They're looking real good. And there's a Grey Cup that, unfortunately, Simoni's never won. And maybe there's an injury or so. I don't know. Maybe Williams goes down at the linebacker spot. Something happens. And somebody says, 2-1, we need you.
Come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, of course.
Kobe wearing 2.
Kobe with the 8, Kobe 24. I don't know, man.
I don't see
hypothetical.
I don't see you getting out of shape. You look good. I don't see you all of a sudden exploding in 3 months or 4 months.
Nah, of course not. As the new brand and community ambassador, we take pride in, making ourselves look the part as always, and still, repping Hamilton, showing people why Hamilton is such a great place, working out all the time, taking care of our bodies.
Yoga.
Taking care of our mental, going to Moto Yoga, of course, taking care of the body, so we're prepared for anything always.
Answer the question.
Oh, man, as the community and brand ambassador, I'm focused on the people. Football, as you can see, I have graduated from. And I don't know, when you graduate, are you allowed to go? I don't know.
You could go for a second degree.
I guess I got to read. I wrote the book on the graduation. I got to go back and look and see what I wrote. So I'll see if it's allowed. If it's allowed, I'll think about it.
Just hypothetical. All right, we'll leave it at that. Simoni, it's been a lot of years. And as I said, been really fortunate to be one of those guys in this community who have had an ability to put a microphone in front of your face and get you on the wins and the losses. I'll never forget 2019 and seeing you and asking you about the Grey Cup. And that was hard for me because I wanted you guys to win. I didn't think there was a chance you guys could lose. And hearing you say to me, this sucks, because it did suck, even as a media guy that was cheering for you guys, and knowing that people in Hamilton were so enthusiastic and waiting for that Grey Cup, which hasn't happened since '99. So it has been a treat covering you through the highs and the lows, mostly highs. And, I always remember this picture that we're going to put up here right now, that it's something that will be special for me because I only knew about all the stuff that you did on the football field. But on this particular day at a Hamilton Honey Badgers game, there was probably about 2,500 people there. If you didn't high five or shake the hands of every single 2,500 people in Cops Call, or at least at First Ontario Centre, I'd be lying here, because you did. But what even made that even more special for me is that you along with Court, I guess you guys had this pre-planned. I think you brought about 25 kids to watch a basketball game. And that goes to me, watching that, to your character and what kind of guy you are, and the times and the commitment that you put into this city. And I can't forget that. So whether you do come back or not, I know you're going to thrive in your role. And it has been a pleasure and a treat to watch your Hall of Fame career. I'm going to say that right now. And it's going to be great. Hopefully I get to be still around to see your name up, because I know there's some great names up on that Tim Hortons Field, those great names there, and that you get up there as soon as possible. So thank you. It's been great. I appreciate you coming and joining and sharing some of the great moments of your career, and we look forward to seeing you morph into something different as well too. I think you should be excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for you.
I'm extremely excited.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bub.
That's your Sportsline podcast for the week, and that's your Sportsline podcast for the week. And as you've just seen and heard, we love talking to extra special sports figures from our hometowns. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline podcast, do want to hear from you. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. And if you do have something to say, please say it, because we want to hear your comments. For the wonderful people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you. Hey, we'll see you next week.